Do you like my background, by the way?
I think the background is hilarious. Oh my God. Um,
All right, so I understand that we have 55 minutes because you have a meeting right after, right?
well, I have a meeting, but I have to, it's not far, but I have to drive there. So if we have, I would say 50 minutes,
Okay,
um,
okay. Well,
for that.
I mean, if we can do it in less, that's even better.
Yeah,
'Cause
I mean, my idea was for us to talk and for me to get the general idea to see what it
exactly.
is, to kind of come up with like, okay, that way we can meet again on Monday and figure out like, okay, so this is what I came up with based off of what we said, but just to get the general layout, because in the message that you sent in the video, I was like, I wasn't, there was a few things I wasn't sure about. Is this something that would ultimately replace my French community?
So it's developing a technology that allows anybody actually to form an epoch of time for learning in a small group. So I think it doesn't replace my French community. I
It
think
would
it's
it would make it much easier for the Jedi's, I would imagine, if they were to
right.
use this.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like a tool that anybody could use. Anybody.
Okay.
So it's open source tool, and it's basically a program that is programmed on the blockchain. So anybody could use it. A bit like a website with a tool, like when you're
So
looking
would
for.
this, but this won't be an app. I mean, right? This is just something that they would use this tool through the website, not through an app.
I mean, it could be an app at some point. That's not a big deal.
Right. But for
That's just the
now,
front end side of it. It's
okay.
the mechanics behind it, like what's going on under the hood, and yeah. So there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to
So let's see then if you can walk me through this. Let's say my name is Jean Paul, and I'm interested in. Well, if I'm Jean Paul, I probably don't need to learn French. But let's just say I decide, okay, I want to learn French.
You're so funny, man.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm just tempted to ask you how's everything going on with the cocktails.
it's very good. Every day is as I'm sure you can relate, every day is such a challenge in like there's just so many ideas.
Yes.
And every idea is demanding, do it now, do this would be so great, blah blah blah, whatever. And having to decide, okay, everybody get in line, like, and it's the opposite of a triage. I think in the hospital with the triage, they look at everybody's injuries and they decide this is the one closest to death. Let's get them going or whatever. For me, in the cocktail is the opposite. It's like, okay, which one has the most going for right now? Which one is the most commercial? Which one is almost done? All that. But so every day it is that challenge, and not to get overwhelmed. It can be, as it is for everybody who's starting stuff, it can be so overwhelming. It all falls on you. It's sometimes trying to get everything that's in your head out to make sense. So yes, that's why when you sent me that video, I was like, my God, I can totally understand that. Like, because it's knowing that the idea is there, knowing that idea works. It's just a question of how to make it, how to apply it to something that people will understand and use and all that, and for them to get it. But it's sometimes the idea just pours out and it all makes sense, and other times it pours out and it's like, oh my God, it looks like a mess, but we can.
Right, it's a question of strategizing and choosing. Actually, you don't need to think so much ahead of your path. You just need the next most urgent milestone.
Yes. Yeah, and
focus.
And just figuring out, like, and getting the right timing done. It is better to wait with some ideas so that when it's time to get them done, they can be done correctly. There's so many things where it's like when I tried to rush it, it ended up wasting a lot of time and energy, right? So I was like, I have to really just space it out. I want to be able to enjoy the process. As excited as I am, like you would be, for people to use these things, you want to really be able to enjoy the process of making it, of creating it. I think people deserve that.
that's your purpose, celebrating the journey, so enjoying the process.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm just curious why you didn't, I mean, I don't know if you did or not, but I'm just assuming why you didn't have a look into NFTs for your drawing.
Cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the cocktails, there's the NFTs is one of 4 things that I have. Like, this is something that I want to do with the cocktails. And that's where I was saying I have to put them in order, because when I do the NFTs, I want to be able to go ahead and say, hey, NFTs happening. So on the Twitter, on the TikTok, on Facebook and all that, and have that social media campaign for the NFTs. But the same thing goes for the shirts. Like, there's cocktail shirts where people can just order them on Amazon and so forth. I'm waiting for Amazon to give me the green light that I can do that. They have to send me the email so I can get the thing. I send them an email, what's going on, whatever, so forth. They just tell me, shut up, be patient. So the NFTs is something.
Yeah, the cool thing with NFTs is you don't need anybody's permission. And
I don't need anybody's permission, but I need to figure out what those NFTs are going to be. Like, what are the images that I'm going to go ahead and do and work with? Because I know that for the same thing for the shirts as it would be for the coasters and the NFTs, there needs to be at least one image that is exclusive to that type of thing, right? Does that make sense?
Also, what type of rights you're selling? Because I think you can go into the leeway of the detail of what is it that they will exactly own. Like, would they own? Would they be able to commercialize like the image on,
And for those NFTs, whatever price I decide to put to it, people are going to look at that price, and then they're also going to look and see, well, what are cocktails? They'll look on my website to see. And so it's really important that when those NFTs happen, even more than the shirts, that they need to believe that this is a brand that is going to be worth a lot of money, and therefore the price of the NFT will reflect that. As opposed to if they looked on the website now, it's being redone this week, for them to understand that what the cocktails world is. So that's why everything kind of has to be in its order. Everything is taking longer than I thought it would, but I love the idea of the NFTs.
Yeah, I think I heard a lawyer on a podcast talking about NFTs. I think you might be interested in hearing what he's got to say for your collections. But anyways, in my opinion, you could have a taste of an NFT. Just try just one NFT. You could go on. I really recommend that website, Jamil. If you hear me, it's called stxnft.com, and it has its own marketplace. The NFT is secured on Bitcoin, the most secured blockchain out there, like the money layer of everything. And they have very low fees. I think they're taking 1%, so it's the lowest on the of what I've heard.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody's permission. You could have your own BNS. Like you could create your own, just like I have like rafa.btc. You could have like
there's a lot of freedom with NFT. Like it's not in the corporate shackles or constraints that you would normally have to deal with when you're dealing with, let's just say, the .coms of the world and all of that. When you're dealing with those, the NFTs is that's why I'm thinking like, yes, it's the way of the future. I'm sure a lot of corporate stuff is very
but you can do it like literally right now, like in less than 20 minutes. You can have Achilles.bts or whatever at cocktails.btc, and then you've got your own, like you can just post your NFT right now, and then I can buy it right now. Like
right.
If you want it, and actually I would love to do that. If you want if you want to put your first NFT of cocktails right now, I can get you through that. And then, but let's get back to my thing, because it's more kind of like shadowy right now, even in your head and in my head.
Okay, so when let's say I decide I want to go ahead and go with the French Foundation, I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I go into the website for, let's say, my French Foundation. When I go to that website, I'm going to see the general message of the homepage is going to be how to sign up for it or what it is. Exactly.
So basically, I think what I'm thinking from the top of my mind, this, as you know, is a session for me to be creative also. But You could either have a group that is autonomous, and historically, in my experience, it has only worked with very experienced people who are already looking into doing an MBA. So if you've got 4 folks, for example, that are enrolled in the Alt MBA by Seth Godin, then you can actually put them in the same Zoom class and let them do their thing with just a prompt, and it will work itself out.
Because for that group, the group that would, let's say, would be kind of autonomous, they already have an understanding of the kind of structure and how to get the most out of it and how
they are getting a structure. They're getting a structure, but they don't need a coach. They don't need a coach. Yeah. So then,
but let's say for me let's say I didn't take the Alt MBA, so my group wouldn't be autonomous. There would be a need for a structure and the coach.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is I'm making people to get better in French by practicing French and discussing about other topics than just vocabulary and learning the language, like life coaching and lots of, the more you produce, the more you have an opportunity to actually practice, the more you end up practicing. So the program, the software that is self-triggered because it's on the blockchain and it's permissionless, that program will provide the structure. And so a coach could actually trigger that program and play the role of a coach in the program.
Okay, so if I go onto the website homepage, I see that there's the autonomous group, and then there's the group that would also have coaching. Okay, so if that's what I know is for me, and I click on whatever button there is or so forth, to go ahead and do that. If that group won't be any bigger than 4 people,
right?
The other 3 people that would be in that group, do I have to bring them, or would they be?
It's like a Groupon.
It's a Groupon.
Yeah.
So it's just as you jump in, other people would jump in. And
it's a Groupon with a deadline. So you jump in. Okay. There's a deadline and there's a limit, a number that needs to be reached. And
so because you can't have more than 4, but if
you'll have more than 4, but you'll have more groups. A bit exactly like the Alt MBA. Alt MBA, you've got I don't know how many hundreds of people who are basically racing at the same time. Right. There's a deadline to apply for it, and then it starts. And when it starts, there's already, I don't know, let's say 1,500 people across the globe with different time zones.
Right.
And then basically the school, like the Alt MBA in this case. So I'm really stealing like an artist. I hope it's like an artist, but in our case, it's for French. Okay. You'll have a coach per group in French. And then let's say there's 1,000 people who apply, okay, for an epoch of, let's say, 2 months, okay, just like the Alt MBA, the My French MBA that we discussed, all right? Okay. So they are the smart contract, the software will distribute them into groups of 4 per week, and they will shuffle this group every week. So it's not boring. So first week you'll be in a group of 4 of your own level in French, let's say B2, and then next week you get to meet new people in a group of 4.
Okay, and then those people I would meet. So now, what does the time that I do this does that stay consistent when I'm meeting with the other 3 people? Okay.
Yeah, the program gives you that structure. It gives you. Are you still there, Achilles? You're frozen. Oh,
wait,
you're back.
Okay, no. Yeah,
Quaker time. What's the name of the town?
Quakertown.
Quakertown. I hope the internet is doing good. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my problem.
No. It might be me. So I'll just move up.
Or maybe it's Zoom. I love the shelves behind you.
Oh yeah, that's my cocktails shelf. It used to just be one little thing, and now it takes up the whole shelf. Okay, so
sometimes I'm trying to hide that picture that you put on the on that side because it's a little Jose, you know. This handsome guy, half naked.
Well, that was the first thing that I noticed was the was the picture of the guy. Of course, that's going to be what catches my attention. So
You did that picture. You're the one who made that.
okay, yeah, but then I just
How
saw
come it
the,
catches you? You're
I
surprised?
saw the French colors, and then I just realized I was like, oh my god, that's the picture. Okay, so
By the way, I'm running tonight, 7 miles, and anybody who wants to save the day, Bitcoin day number 3 is savable right now on stxnft.com/rafa.btc, stxnft.com/rafa.btc, RAPHA, Rafa. You can save Bitcoin day number 3, and your donation will go to, hold on, is it still there? Yeah, it's still there. How come I don't see the price? That's strange. Oh, it's there, 156 stacks. We've already raised collectively 46% of our goal. If you don't save it, that's fine. There's only one to save. I'll burn it and I'll run more miles. I'll run as many miles as it'll take. So it's just more running for me. It doesn't matter. I'll burn more miles. I'll take a picture and replace it and put it on the market tomorrow and try to save it.
okay. All right. So my question then, I go into the homepage. I see the 2 different groups, but I want the one that's not autonomous. I'm going to get the coaching. So I join into that. I see that there's a deadline for people who are going to be joining this for that 2-month period.
Yeah.
Great. So let's say if I went on there today and I saw, oh, the deadline is October 15th. That's fine. So then I know that I'm signing up for something that's going to begin October 15th. Right. How does the time that I'm meeting with people, how is that decided? Is that am I choosing from times that are listed, or?
That's predetermined in advance. So when you apply, you'll put your time zone. And so you automatically know your schedule.
Okay. So
you'll know, it's at 6 p.m. On Tuesdays and Thursday, and then on Saturday is at I forgot which time, like 9 a.m. or something.
All right. So then for me, it's important to understand the part for the time, because let's say if I'm trying to sign up and then when I say, hey, I want to do this, it's predetermined. Do I have any input as to which day is good for me or what time is good for me? Or is there a list that I can choose from? Or do I just hear back and you say, hey, it's going to be Thursdays at 7 p.m.
Exactly. Before you apply, you're applying to a schedule. You know the schedule in advance. You know when it's going to take your schedule during 2 months, like 8 weeks with a 1 week break.
Okay.
You know exactly.
Does the so when on that site, when someone clicks that they want to sign up, do they see a list of times that they can pick from?
Right. So let's say for now, yeah, exactly.
So my question to you then, for you, is, do you know what times this is going to be?
We already did it. It's in myfrenchcommunity.com. We did. So the coach who will be coaching their group from their time zone would validate that schedule. So I'm a coach in that case. So that schedule, we already did it, and it's right there. myfrenchcommunity.com/MBA, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
Nice. Okay.
All right. So Tuesday at 6 p.m., 90 minutes. Thursday at 6 p.m., 90 minutes. And Sunday at 6 p.m., 75 minutes. So we can change that if it's maybe it can be in the morning on Sundays, because nobody wants to work at night on Sundays, I guess.
This is true.
Yeah. So that was bad right here.
So when if I click on, oh, I'm interested in this. I mean, for I don't know how the link would work, but how will, by my clicking on it, I'm interested in this, how will it go? How will it direct me to the right coach in the right time zone, I guess? Or do you want the website to have those options? If you're in this time zone, click here. If you're in this time zone, click here.
Yeah, exactly. exactly. The
Okay.
website is going to,
It's going to showcase all the different ways.
yeah,
Okay.
this is easy, all of that. Yeah. So,
And how many time zones? Just out of curiosity.
so we're gonna go one step at a time, but
Yeah.
eventually
For now you have
it
a
will be
West Coast.
across the globe. Like I don't see why it's not across the globe. It's so easy to just
Well, I mean,
program it.
Okay. All right. All right. And then when is the next class period starting?
It's not. The whole point for now is to
Just build the site.
yeah, to build the technology. The whole point is to build the technology. So we want this to be triggable, permissionless.
So this is something that's going to be out there where anybody can just kind of like, they find it, they click on it, they use it, and it runs itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. It's a tool that you can use if you are a French coach, for example, in this case. But I'm going to use my use case, right? But in the future, we can expand that to other domains, you know, other areas of I would say trade schools, you know, a skill
Okay.
that you can train. It is basically doing the job of distributing a path of learning, creating a space where you're going to be learning, and finding the ones that are going to go with you along that journey, that learning journey. And the cool thing is, you know, you've got one group, but let's say if you have hundreds of people applying to that specific path, in my case, French and life coaching, we can dispatch, we can have like, because the spirit is to work in small groups. Okay, so
Right.
we'll dispatch in small groups with the coaches. In this case, coaches are mandatory because you're learning a new language, so you need someone who corrects your French, who helps you, etc. And you've got this private forum where you have all the homework that you have to do, and even though you're working in a small group, on the forum, other people are posting their homework just like you. And they're not only 4 of them, they're like hundreds, or let's say 100. Let's say if we are, or let's say, I don't know, if there are 10 groups, 40 people, okay? 40 people at your level will go through that journey.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
That makes sense. So, and I did forget, because you did put that in the video, so there's going to be a thing for people who want to learn French, but there are also going to be some groups to do something different, like leadership, right? Or no?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
So that leadership is going to be in English.
Right. It could be in English, yeah, or in French. It could be in any language. But yeah, it has to be in like for groups to be together, it's going to be in the same language. Yes. So English, let's say.
Okay. So the way you picture this, then the menu of the different kinds of groups you can get into, that menu, I guess, will grow over time.
So right now, let's do.
But right now it's just French.
Let's do what I call the Jedi. Okay, the Jedi or the My French MBA. Okay, so you have to be level B2 in French, and I'm going to offer you a menu of topics that we will go through. And you actually, it's going to be more about you than about us, even though we're offering these reflection points where the discussion starts from, and you have homework and everything is in French. You know, you can actually, if you don't like that reflection, you can change the reflection. It's almost like every journey is customized by yourself. So I actually didn't post that on the website, but I have a list of all these topics.
Okay, so in the big picture, right, the idea is, if I decide I want to go ahead and take this and do this class and do the small group, but I want my group to be autonomous, right? And there's other people from, alt MBA, whatever. So in the big picture, I could go on there with this trigger thing that happens, right? To get the structure and all that. And I get my three, and there's the three people that also kind of sign up for the same thing. We all get together. So I could go on there, meet up with these three people, have that structure, get that whole experience where you, Rafa, wouldn't have to do any in-person interaction. It's all this tool just facilitates me having that whole experience and not having to depend on, any kind of whatever. It's just it'll connect me with these other three people.
Have you heard of Launch Club? This startup that connects people together. It actually, it creates meetups, like professional meetups with other folks. And all it does is a schedule, like you match with someone. And so it's a bit the same thing, except it's on the blockchain. So, so the business model is a little bit different. It's permissionless. And you could use it. Let's say there would be two versions of it, and a completely autonomous group where it's going to be even cheaper. Right. And then the coach group, let's say, and as a coach, you could create your program and then trigger it and sell it. And then, it will trigger like a Groupon, and then even several coaches could actually, be part of the same campaign, let's say. So their students would actually be able to see each other's homework if they follow the same program, let's say, like for example, my French MBA, if they follow that program, let's say I want to kind of vet those coaches, So it's a product. Yes, there's this layer that's automatic, but then I want to be making sure the coaches have are able to actually coach, so they know about their topics and their French is actually good.
Oh, right. You just want to be able to audit kind of like the classes and just make sure that everything is there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I want to take the class that is not autonomous, I'll have a coach. I sign up for that. Is that free?
No, nothing's free. Nothing's
So
free.
even the autonomous one is not free, correct?
Right, it's not free either, but I would say it's going to be very cheap compared to what an average student is spending to go to school. And,
right. No, I
and with the student loans that they have to take, and then they're indebted for years and years, I would say the spirit is it's a trade school. That you're training, like you actually want to get results out of it.
And by all means, I don't think it should be free either. But so just to be clear, I do, because I know someone who's learning Spanish, and he's learning Spanish through the Duolingo, whatever. But anytime that he is around me, anytime I see him, he's like, hey, so if I say, and he tries to soak up as much of the engagement, the interaction, because a Duolingo only does but so much. And he's like, what about this? What about that? Whatever. And he's craving to have that kind of connection for, of course, in terms of speaking Spanish.
Exactly. That's a great point, because Duolingo doesn't connect you with other people who are also
exactly.
learning.
And the connection with other people is the value to that. You can't even put a price tag on it, because this can be somebody that you become friends with, that you go and travel with, you go and see, and so forth, and sharing the experiences.
They've been there. They've been there before you. They're going to tell you how to get where they are, and you're going to be a witness of their homework. I don't get it. Like at school or university, people should be able to correct each other. Like. One of the things, for example, I remember in my first year of business sporting school, I was taking philosophy private classes because I sucked at it. I ended up like making a lot of progress, and then I had a good grade. And then one of my peers asked to read my essay, and they did that. And the next time, they made tremendous progress just by reading my work. So as an example, they could see, instead of just having the correction from the teacher and telling you, oh, this is bad typo, etc. Why don't we have like the opposite? What is good? And don't you learn more when you're the one teaching? So when you're in a group of 4, you have to be involved all the time. So you get that reflection from others.
And without the reflection, like he'll say something to me in Spanish and I would laugh and I would say, I understand what you're trying to say, but that slight pronunciation that you're doing, the slight shift, is you're changing the word from being this to being that. And in his mind, he couldn't hear that difference at first until I pointed out, Duolingo can't hear you, right? Another person can, and just have an engagement. And he just has so much more fun. There's laughter, there's this, that, there's so much more to it when you're able to have that engagement. So any tool, which is what this is, a tool that is going to connect you with other people who are on the same path as you, and you have that engagement and facilitate it with the structure. I think it's, and this is something that I had always, you and I had talked about many times, was that there's only so many classes that you can actively be in and coaching and so forth, where if the idea is to kind of give them that experience of connecting to other people. I never would have thought of doing it in this fashion, but it's certainly, it really, really works, especially for the ones where the coaching, which is, let's say I go to one that's the coaching, is that by going to that site, I can see that if I reach a certain level, I will be able to go ahead and go for the autonomous one and make those connections and be very, I can be self-sufficient. I can kind of write my own,
that's the goal,
my own course and so forth, and decide this is when I can do it, and I can take a little pause, do it then, and so forth. So it's really, really, really forward thinking.
That's the ultimate goal. If you're self-sufficient, if you become competent inconsciently, like at the beginning you're incompetent and you don't know that you're incompetent. Then you start to know and you're still incompetent. Then you work at it, you become competent, but it takes efforts. So you need to be conscious about it. And then
and the product that you were always trying to sell was not you as the coach, but the engagement they have with each other. You're always trying to, and so that product is still very much intact in both ways, whether they go for the autonomous or the not autonomous. That product is still it's so there because that was the main thing that was being offered that you really couldn't find.
And don't get me wrong, I love doing it myself, but
there's only so much limited. You can do.
Yeah. Right. Not only I'm limited, but I love doing it because I get so much from it as well. Like that idea that you're there not only to teach but also to learn, and also I still have in the back of my mind developing an AI that helps tutors doing the job of sending customized corrections to folks, because the mistakes are always the same, and that you can do on your own. Like we can imagine that these sessions could be like recorded, and then there's an AI that spots the mistakes and then sends the student like a French only skill exercise that corresponds to their mistakes. But that's separate.
Right, but and so I have the information, for example, of what I would need, so that on Monday I can show you, like, okay, this is the way that I can frame the website for how that would look. Now, the thing about the website is that I'm guessing the account that you have, let's say for Wix, you can still use that account. You can create a different thing under a different website through that. The only reason I was asking about the My French Community was that, so this is not something you want to have as a page in My French Community. You do want this to be a separate tool entirely.
It doesn't matter. I'm agnostic. If you want,
well, the difference is you wouldn't have. If it was a page out of My French Community, and it can certainly start that way, you wouldn't have to pay for a brand new website, is what I'm saying.
Right. Let's do it like that for now. And also, what we can do is we can talk about that because I forgot about that. We can talk about the fundraising for DVR.
Right.
In a different page as well. Like, so fundraising. So did I show you, like, there's 7 Bitcoin days that are going already. 4 have been sold for a total of uh, $450 raised so far. That's 46% of my goal. So 6 of these Bitcoin days will be sold now. You know, I'm running, and if the Bitcoin day, so I put 1 Bitcoin day on the market.
Right.
If it's not sold, it hasn't happened yet. Every day someone has but one, but I jack up the prices every day that I'm successful. I don't when I'm not. Okay.
Okay.
So, what was I saying is,
So this is the fundraise for what exactly?
So yeah, so all funds will go to Divya. She's a French student in my French community from India. She's also the pillar of her family. She also works and study at the same time. She supports her parents, and so on and so on. Like she's a superhero with an I, hero, because hero is the name of a company company that has developers in the Stacks ecosystem, like these smart contracts that you know, Blockstack is the blockchain that brings smart contracts to Bitcoin. It makes Bitcoin as powerful as Ethereum. So that's why I keep on saying hero, HIRO. So this is fundraising for one student, okay, who, you know, I don't want to talk about her private life, but you know, there are reasons why I am doing this.
And so will there be a, like, at some point it'll be a different student that's the fundraising for? Is this like something that you would have set up where periodically it just be a fundraiser for different
as
students?
as you know, for 6 months or more, or I don't know how many months, I've been doing the Jedi for free.
Right.
Every Sunday. It's been a blast. Let's say the first graduate was Emmanuel Omachoko Anthony, who now is graduated. He posted for literally 6 months, every Sunday, nonstop. There was only a period of time where it was stopped because somebody had stolen his phone at the time.
Oh,
So
wow.
he couldn't join for 2 weeks. But then he continued joining when he got a new phone, and he graduated and received a grant from his university because he's one of top 1% in his university, to go to France, and he's now in France, and throughout Europe he's doing a master's. And recently, so after graduating my French Jedis, he took the B2 DELF exam, so a French certification, and he ended up being the first of his university. So I believe that the method paid off.
Yeah. Sure.
He ended up, and when he came, he was level he was level, I don't know, A2 or B1.
So wait,
but he did it on his own. Mostly it's thanks to him. He's a Jedi. I mean,
right. And the Jedi's for all this time, that's been something that's been free as long as they did the work.
Exactly. It's not free. It's free monetarily speaking. So
right.
you can win your seat at the Sunday session if you actually post your homework on the platform, on the forum, and if you give feedback to others. And then you have also to do your reflected script. So I'm reusing Seth Godin's method.
Okay. And then this relates to the fundraising. How?
Right. This relates to that because there are 7 Bitcoin days.
Right.
6 of them, 4 of them have already gone. That's how we are already, at $450, 46% of our goal. There are 2 more to go. 1 today. If you want to be a savior of the day, you can. You go to stx.nft/rafa.bdc, RAPHA, and it's day 3. Imperfect growth path paved by blue Bitcoin rock. Keep your head straight is entitled. And it will be added to the fundraising that I will be transferring to her. And if not, I'll continue to run until it's done. So I ran 15 miles the first week. And now I'm trying to unwind those 50 miles. So 4 days I run 7 miles.
It's like going up the hill and then down the hill. Okay.
Exactly. So 4 days I run 15 miles. So these are 28 miles. So there are like 21 miles or 22 miles left to be unwind. So if nobody saves the day today, then I cannot count that as a 7 miles unwound. I need to run another 7 miles tomorrow. And that's all because of you, because you're the one who offered that 5K challenge.
Which I tell you, like I got so frustrated because I was like, God, I should have like promoted it in a different way, promoted it better and so forth. And I had done, I mean, I did my run and it was great. And I would not have run that day if it wasn't for my own, event. I always forget how much I love running.
I would love for someone to save the day, because I actually feel like I'm needing a break, although now it feels easier to run, than at the beginning. But still, at some point I would love to have a break, but I'm determined. If nobody, saves the day, I'll continue running. So I still have 2 days to go. So these are 6 Bitcoin rocks. And then there's one last Bitcoin rock that I call the day end. And it's actually also the day one, because I didn't post an NFT on day one. I only started on day 2. Today, I've been successful every day. So I did. So day 1, no NFT, then D2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then day 8, I got a savior.
Okay.
Day 9, I got another savior. Day 6, it was day 9, I got a savior. Day 5, it was day 10, I got a savior. Day 4, I got a savior, it was day 10. And today is day 11, and you can save day 3. I've been a bit fast. I mean, if you confuse it in the days, it's fine. But then if I save day 3, tomorrow I save day 2, and there's only 1 day left. And that day it will go in a standalone as an auction. And that auction, whatever proceeds go from that are, from this, I will allocate it towards the Jedi. So basically me continuing, every Sunday, doing a 1 hour session for free for the Jedis.
Okay. Because I want to make sure I get this in before time runs out.
I know it's confusing in the days, right? So,
it's not so much that it's confusing. I think something like that is where, because I think it's important, because this is something that you're probably going to do again. Yes.
Maybe.
Okay. Because then I'm
able to catch a breath at some point.
Then creating like the visual so people can see like this is how it works with these different days and how to sign up for them. All right. So for this My French Foundation, there are two things.
Sorry to interrupt, but also what I'm doing also is not only fundraising for DVR, and then the 7th day for, let's say, My French Foundation, like the Jedis. I'm also spreading the awareness around smart contracts to Bitcoin, which is a huge deal, and it's just live. It's been live for a few months only, and it brings, like, Stacks is bringing smart contracts to Bitcoin, which is like mind-boggling.
Okay.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Okay. For the My French Foundation, is that what it's called, or is it just called the foundation?
My French,
because if leadership,
that's on you. You're the creative one.
If leadership classes ultimately are going to fall into this platform, that's leadership
classes. That's My French MBA. Yeah. That
okay.
is. But for the Jedis, it's free. I'm doing a 1 hour session for free. I've been doing it. You can see the track record. You can go on YouTube. You can see all these videos. It's live. I'm doing it live. So you can verify it on the blockchain, kind of.
So for this page that people will go to for the foundation, that homepage where you have the stuff for the autonomous and for the groups and non-autonomous, for all the information that's going to be on there, one thing that I strongly would encourage you to have is that as much information without it being too much, that's where I come in and I make it looking away, whether they're on their phone or on their laptop, that it conveys the information as best as possible. Sure. I do think an introductory video from you would also go a long way.
Okay.
Now, in this video, what I'm saying should be in it doesn't have to be anything about this is how you sign up and this is what you did. None of that. It's a video of you simply explaining that part of that you get the engagement, that this is something that triggers that you're able to go ahead and have that engagement with other people, you know, to really emphasize that so that people can see like, well, okay, so what is this? Because the reason why I'm saying that this video is also so important is that this is a different way of doing something. If you're offering something that if I'm selling you cupcakes, right, and everybody else is selling cupcakes, that I don't have to, there's only so much I have to explain. But this idea and this approach is so out of the ordinary that people, no matter how you kind of put the words down and so forth, I think it would take a video for you to really go ahead and people say, oh my God, this is what it is, and to really engage them that way. Also because if you don't tell them, like with your voice, your face in the video, my concern is that some people would read things and they would misinterpret it because it's just so different from what they know beforehand. Does that make sense?
All right, so hold on. I think that for the launch of the first, let's say, My French MBA, and ideally in my dream, it would be financed by, you know, the proceeds of the end. But if it's not, it's fine. If it's financed by the proceeds of the end, it will allow me to actually offer it to Jedis. What I call a Jedi is you know, someone who don't necessarily have the means, but who, you know, who has who doesn't have the monetarily means, but has everything else.
Right.
So to be a Jedi, you actually need to squeeze in the work and be motivated in all of this. So to your point about the video, I think that the initial idea that I had a couple of months, it still stands. That not only it needs one video, but it needs a series of video where I will be kind of like showcasing the you know, what's in the program. And so
I absolutely. But for now, we'll just say that introductory video that doesn't even have to be more than a minute or two, really. It's just, but this is the essence of what this is and so forth. It's just to have enough in the video that when they watch that, they'll want to see whatever. That video, especially if it happens to be under a minute, then that's something that could be used with Instagram. That's something that can be used on other different platforms. And same thing with Facebook, and people can watch that and be like, okay, I get it. And then send them to the link to the website and they see. But I'm
not underestimating what you're saying. What I'm saying is, yeah, you need that intro video, like kind of like,
but a
selling thing.
But a series of those, absolutely.
Yeah, I like a series. It's actually, you know, these 5-minute videos that we had in mind, you know, even though, you know, I drifted away, you know, I had other activities going on.
It is that concept. Yes, absolutely.
But, you know, they'll be able to see, you know, in 5 minutes, this is, you know, I don't know, assertivity. In 5 minutes, this is why, you know, all the things that I have in my program, me as a coach, in My French MBA Jedis, or if it's financed by you know, by the proceeds of this, that would be offered to the Jedis.
Okay, now one quick correction. So if I'm saying let's move forward, this is how we proceed. But if we're talking about the profit of something, that's proceeds. So the accent goes on a different part.
Proceeds.
Proceed. Move forward.
Okay, yeah.
Proceeds. These are the proceeds. That means making money. And it's
I'd like to hire you. Actually, you know, you understand the concept of the smart contracts. Like I would like, if you want to trigger this, you could even like tweak the smart contract and offer your own menu of learning, but you could use the smart contracts on your own without having
and that's the thing. I do get it, and I believe me, but it was important to show you that distinction, because in what you're talking about, proceed and proceeds, both of those words kind of had to do with what you're talking about, like moving forward with this project, but also the money that you gain from it. So that's why I was like, it came out to me. But yeah, so proceeds is profit, and proceed, move forward. All right, so we've got 1 minute left. So for you, I would say to just think in terms of that first introductory video. I do believe it'll be a series of it, especially because people will. This is just a new way of thinking. People aren't, their minds aren't even wired to think in terms of this way. And I think that's what's so amazing about it. But, some people will come in with their own limited view, or their own, like what they think how things should be or structured or whatever. So I would go with that. But I have enough here for me to create the design kind of thing for a homepage, and for the page that it will take them to, and like in terms of how that would look, so that they don't get overwhelmed, but it still pulls them in. And I'll do it on the website page. I'll make it a page inside of my community. It's much, and then if it once it gets to be big enough, that's the best way to do it. Once it's big enough that it warrants its own like website or this, that, whatever, so forth, then we could just kind of move all that over. But for now, I would say that we can do this. So the web page will be my French community /foundation.
Exactly. And if you also want to do this, like the page for the up to you, but these are like the 4 NFTs that have been rescued the past 4 days.
Okay.
You see 50 stacks, 66, 88, 117. Today I'm going to run right now, after this 7 miles, and I'm trying to rescue this one, 156. And everything is public on the blockchain. So the money is transferred to rafa.btc, and then DVI is going to create her own wallet, and I'll transfer her the rest. I'll transfer all the proceeds from day 2 to day 7.
Okay.
Where's day? Here it is. Took a little bit of time. So you could also explain that if you want. Up to you. I'm leaving this to you. This is recorded. If you want to review it for the purpose of you didn't catch something, or you can
I'll probably for this last part, and when you explaining the other stuff before, I'll probably look over that a couple of times in order to really see like, okay, what's the best way to do it? Because I think that the fundraising part, it just needs it just needs to be framed the right way. But
the fundraising, in my opinion, is almost the most important, because it's an engine.
No, and because this is the thing that fuels everything else. Absolutely. So and that's why
if you want to do that page first, maybe, I don't know, whatever.
But that's the part that's but I'll have a draft for each one of these pages for you to take a look at. But now I definitely have to run, because I can't afford to be late.
Merci beaucoup, Achilles.
Okay. All right. So then we'll set up a time for Monday. We'll get together, and then we'll go through the draft pages and stuff.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you for making me to celebrate this journey.
Yes. And you have a good run if you end up having to run.
Yes.
All right.
Merci. Garde ta flamme intacte.
Keep that flame
burning.